The same black woman who will praise European white aesthetics will go in there and try to pretend like they're freaking Khalid Muhammad or Malcolm X and point out other featurist, colorist, racist. And it's just like, ma'am, can you first remove the blonde weave off of your head first, please? Can we talk about that? Can we try to get away from the European aesthetic? If we really want to go there, if we really want to play tit for tat, can we acknowledge maybe some of the self-loathing that we may have? And then maybe we may actually now be at a better position to sit here and try to morally police these black men. But best believe, black women right now are in no position to try to sit here and pretend, like I said, like they're like some Colin Muhammad, black nationalist, pro-black. No. You are only pro-black when it comes to trying to control and trying to demonize and trying to criticize black men. But your pro-blackness, it don't go to our hair, most of us. It don't go to our vacation preferences. It doesn't go through our clothing preferences. Like, we don't care about that kind of stuff. We're so pro-black, but then we thirst after white men. And this is based upon evidence that I'm going to bring up. This is why I'm saying these conversations are largely disingenuous, because they don't require us to look in the mirror and say, okay, you know what? Yeah, maybe dude has a little bit of self-hatred, but I do too. So let me do it myself first. Okay, let me get myself right. And then maybe I can come and help. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. But anyways, let me try to get through this. Okay.
That I saw him make on his Instagram, white bees be like, and it's showing a white woman tanning, and he said, man, F these black girls. Tyree is a father as well. He said, throwback to the happiest day of my life and how white my son was, haha. Now, I don't have any kids, and I tell you guys this all the time, but if I was a parent, I'm pretty sure that my biggest concern would be that my baby was healthy.
Cap. Let's not act like black women aren't out there looking at the texture of the baby's hair, looking at the skin tone. Like, let's not act like black women don't do that. I don't, you know, and here's one of the issues that I have with these conversations that speak to this idea of self-hatred or speak to this idea of preferring whiteness. That does exist. I'm not going to pretend that it obviously exists among the black community. This is a natural byproduct of being, you know, a permanent underclass, for lack of a better term. You do see that, but you don't just see that in black men. And the issue that I have is these conversations to me are largely disingenuous because they don't look at things from both sides. She's criticizing him for having a light skin, criticizing him for showing preference to white women. You're going to see that because the baby, she shows a picture of the baby, and the baby he's holding looks like mixed, looks like he may be procreated with a white girl. Okay. Don't we have plenty of evidence on her channel and other channels that are like it who specifically encourage women to go with white men? So it's like, what are we even talking about? And this is why it's like black women are in no position to try to play the moral police or to try to police a black man's choices or to judge whether or not they have self-love or self-hatred. Black women are in no position to do that. Because the very thing that we are judging these men for, we ourselves are actually doing as a collective. I mean, if we really want to get into preferences, and I'm going to play that in a little bit. If we really want to get into preferences and who has a higher preference for whiteness, the information and the data out there is clear. And it is black women. It is black women who have a more affinity for whiteness. I didn't make this up. I'm going to show you evidence that speaks to this. But this is why this stuff becomes largely disingenuous. Because of course there are black men out there who hold self-hating ideals. Of course they would. And there are also men who go through a process of evolution and learn better and do better and they get better. It happens for black women too. But somehow we like to pretend that although we came from the same communities, we came from the same households, we came from this same environment, somehow self-hatred can only be found. It can only be found among black men. But there are no black women out there who hold it. There are no black women out there who struggle in those particular ways that could also be damaging to the opposite sex. You see how convenient it is that these issues somehow only are in black men? And that's what I'm saying. It's like black women, we are not at the place to be trying to police these men and act like we are the moral standard. We are not the moral standard when it comes to self-love. Okay, if you really want to go there. I mean, not even with names like Paris Milan. I mean, you got a name like Paris Milan, right? That alone, you're European. If you want to talk about femininity, now we're looking at European aesthetics. We are praising European aesthetics. Over here talking about how black men have an affinity for whiteness. We got a name like Paris Milan, right? Like praising going to France and going to Italy and going to England and probably watching Bridgerton and all these different things. Not even having an affinity for why. I mean, why isn't it Zanzibar? Why isn't, I don't know, Zanzibar Lagos? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like why. It's like it's just to me, it's so crazy to me how you'll have black women, the same black woman who will praise European white aesthetics, will go in there and try to pretend like they're freaking Khalid Muhammad.